Hey everyone, it's Konami Eye. It's really early in the morning and I can't believe I'm going to do another Konami Eye review. Okay guys, so my Facebook events somehow resynced with my alarm clock, which I thought that I had turned off, but about a half an hour to 45 minutes ago, my phone started ringing and I grabbed it thinking I had to go to work, and pleasantly, unpleasantly realized that it said, Sailor Moon Crystal Act 13 is now available on Crunchyroll. That's great. Fantastic. I was kind of sleepy. After watching a couple minutes of the episode, I realized that I just had to say something. Now, normally I don't do review videos because I'm sure my opinion is going to be tossed out there with thousands and thousands of other Moony opinions. But before we begin, I just wanted to say that you are more than welcome to agree or disagree with me. But it is my opinion, so I'll just leave it at that. I guess it's not a review per se, it's more of a reaction. So this is more of a Konami Eye reacts to Sailor Moon Crystal Act 13. How's that sound? Okay, yeah, that's good. I had some things that I just had to say about it. And it's more about this episode itself and not about the series. Alright, let's begin. So first off, Moon Pride. I love Moon Pride. I was just explaining to my friend Bizria Cosplay that I did not like Moon Pride to begin with. Over the course of time, it's actually grown on me and I actually really like the song. However, in this episode, I feel like it was misplaced. It's so weird to see some super emotional like sort of moment ruined by I was just about to cry, and then you shoved a big clown with balloons in my face. That's what it felt like, to me at least. The animation studio really likes to reuse anime from the very end of episodes and sticking on the very beginning of an episode, but it's not a recap. They actually have the same animation and then they kind of progress the story a little bit, so then you're intrigued. You're like, oh yeah, I remember this from last week. And then they start playing Moon Pride and you're like, darn it. Fooled again. But you can't just skip Moon Pride because you have to see that little part in the beginning. It's like they know. It's like they trick ya. Third bullet point, Luna. They open up a space portal and Luna and Artemis jump out and Luna attacks Queen Metalia very valiantly and I love it and it's great. But this is what happens. Isagi! Sorry, Luna. Why did she do that? Luna, you're a cat. I know that in the S movie, you turn into a human, and who knows? You may have a human form either coming up, or you might have had one before, but that time is not now. Luna, what possessed you to attack a huge entity like Metalia? That's what I want to know. What did she think she was going to accomplish? For some reason, I thought for a split second that, like, Queen Serenity had imbued her with like some secret power, or she was gonna turn into Sailor Luna or something crazy, but no, she just I don't. So after that, I'm watching the episode, and then they're in the basement of the castle, whatever, and then everyone contacts Zordon and their Power Rangers, and they kind of whoosh out of there. The thing that I notice most of the time is when you see someone who has the ability to transport in anime, it kind of is like a cop-out, because you wonder why, if they've had this power for so long, they haven't used it yet. So when they're in danger, how come the Senshi just don't teleport out of there really quick? Instead, in previous episodes, they took beatings, but now they can just Power Rangers Zordon whatever out of there. The sword. When they teleport out of there, Luna and Artemis are sitting in front of the sword. Luna is obviously hurt. Artemis is kind of sitting next to her, consoling her, and then the Sailor Senshi are just like, alright, we gotta go. We're gonna go beat up Metalia, but we're just gonna leave the sword here. Like, why would you do that? Can the sword not come with you? Does your transporting powers not include the sword? Does sword not come including with your purchase of teleportation? On top of teleportation, Artemis can teleport to the moon, but Luna can't? These unanswered questions. Riveting. So I want to know for real though, because Luna can't do it. She had to teach the Senshi how to get to the moon around that fountain in a previous episode. So does that mean that Artemis had this power before? And that would make sense because Luna was awakened after Artemis. And so maybe Queen Serenity was like, okay, so Luna's gonna go protect the princess. Artemis, you're gonna protect the decoy. But the decoy is previously Sailor V, so I'm just gonna give you that extra power, you know, since you've been here longer. Seniority? After the fight with Metalia, after the Senshi basically gets smacked down and they're laying on the ground, I wrote it down here. It says, let's lay here and complain. So the Senshi are sitting there on the ground, like, oh my gosh, we've been defeated. And Sailor Venus says, there's nothing we can do. I was like, are you kidding me, girlfriend? Like, there's nothing you can do. Of all the people in that group, Sailor Venus should have been the least qualified to say that. Why are they all just laying around? They're like laying on their back, like kicking it up in a field somewhere and talking about how all hope is lost. That's great, but you're the Sailor Senshi. Like, you should try a little harder to persevere. That really bothered me for some reason, that they had that little quip of like, maybe we're not as great as we thought. No, you're the Sailor Senshi. You're as great as everyone thinks you are. Onto the pens. Okay, so when they were using their henshin pens, like, and they're like calling out their planetary power, what did the pens have to do with it? And why did they say sacrificing this pen is like sacrificing our lives? Like, I just don't understand. Also, with that, when they attacked, why did they say make up? Maybe we'll never know. Maybe it's a secret or whatever. When somebody gains power from someone who is not immediately with them, the natural consensus would be that they are awake somewhere else. So the inner Senshi are sitting there, they're battling Metalia, and it gets all Sailor Moon R movie up in this episode where they remember Usagi and how they have feelings for her as a person and how she has positively affected their lives. And then they get the sword from Usagi because of their feelings for her, but here's the thing. Inner Senshi, Usagi, give us strength. Usagi's hand, and then they have the sword, right? Usagi is unconscious in the crystal. So how is she giving them power? That's the thing that I want to know. Next bullet point. Mamoru's watch and the Shiteno. I can't even tell you how absolutely enraged I was to find out that the watch and the stones saved Usagi and Mamoru from their imminent deaths. Because I cried last episode when she stabbed herself, because I was like, oh my gosh, Usagi, no! But it turns out she didn't even kill herself. She just stabbed a watch, and it protected her from killing herself, and she slashed some stones, and it didn't kill Mamoru or hurt him in any way. I'm mad because why did she fall over like she died? Why did Mamoru fall over like he died? And why was he cold? So let's segue into the next thing on my list, which is gloves. Sailor Moon and Mamoru are both wearing gloves. I don't know if animation studios realize that we're not stupid. I have a Sailor Moon cosplay. I don't feel heat through my costume. I don't feel heat through gloves, and I'm pretty sure the point of gloves is so that you don't feel anything outside of the gloves. So back to the stones and the watch. So now we know that they weren't really dead. You'd think that the inner Senshi, when they, come down and see that Usagi and Mamoru are kind of like whatever. Did they not want to check for a pulse before they were, sucked into the silver crystal? Or did they just not run up and, are you alive? Like, are you still warm? I just don't know. Whatever. Okay, now we're towards the end of the episode, and this is the part that actually got me pretty good. But I was watching it, and Tuxedo Mask grabs Usagi after she's having her moments of doubt, and he goes, "Get a hold of yourself." But the funny thing is that when he says it, it's so serious that it's almost like scary / condescending, and that's what makes it funny to me, because Mamoru and Usagi are like supposed to be super lovey-dovey, like the perfect couple, and then he's just like, "Usagi, get a hold of yourself." Like, it was, I don't know, it was just really funny to me. One cool thing that I really do love though, and this is probably like the one redeeming factor of this episode, was when the Moonstick became the Moonstick staff with the lotus flower crystal sitting inside. It was just so good. I like the little card captor Sakura spin that she did a little bit with the rod, though I don't know why they have her spinning around. Like, that's for the S season, and it's literally a spiral attack, so you don't need to be doing it that early, Usagi, because that's not where it goes. The cool part about it is, since we've never seen, aside from the manga, we haven't seen the Moonstick staff. It reminds me of this picture that I'm going to put up right now that I remember seeing in the 90s, and it was official art. And I was really confused because I was like, who's the girl with pink hair and what's that staff all about? And I'm still confused because now that I'm looking at the picture, that's not the Moonstick staff, and according to my sources, that is a picture from Sailor Moon Sailor Stars. So, still don't know what that's all about. Anyway, that's what it reminded me of because that's the picture that I saw when I was a kid. I don't know, guys. It was just kind of a wash for me, and I was kind of disappointed by it. That was pretty much it. That's my review reaction, whatever, to Sailor Moon Crystal Act 13. I thank you guys for listening to me rant about this episode. It has been my absolute pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode yourself. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more weird stuff, including Sailor Moon toy reviews and some random videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. So I'm going to throw all this stuff into Sony Vegas Pro, edit it out, and load it up onto YouTube. So by the time you guys see it, I will probably be asleep. This is Konami I saying thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for listening to my rant, and I will see you next time.